Hey, it's Brock here with Rock Hill Farms, and today I want to give a review on this Baumalight mini skid steer and tell you how I feel about it now that I've had it for 7 months and put about 40 hours on it. And I'll tell you the truth, when I first found out that Baumalight had these available, I was excited about the idea of maybe trying one out, but I didn't think it would be something that would be practical for me to use here on my property. You know, I've got the tractor, I've got the skid steer, now I have a second tractor. I thought, is this going to be just fun for me to mess around with, or is it really useful? And I've been shocked by how often I choose this machine over one of the others. So I've got the two tractors, the full-size skid steer, the mini skid steer here, and over the last couple months, I've had 4 or 5 other tractors in for demos. And with all that equipment on the property, when I need to pick something up and move it, or do some small task, I find myself jumping on this machine. Now, I want to talk about the reasons I like it and the reasons I don't, but I'm going to start with the part that surprised me because I just didn't realize how much of a big deal this is. But I love how easy it is to get on and off this machine. So if I have a couple pallets to move or something like that, you're on it, you're running, you're off, and you're doing something else without shutting it off. You're back on it and you're going. Like driving along, oh, something fell off the pallet. You grab it, put it back on. It's so convenient, and you wouldn't think it's that big of a deal to open the door, climb up in the cab, close the door. That sounds like a very minor thing, but if you're on and off the machine a lot of times, it just feels more convenient. Plus, I used to have the John Deere stand-on mowers, and I did a couple videos talking about how I liked mowing standing up. People would say, why wouldn't you want to sit down to mow? And I said, I can't explain it to you, but I really enjoy standing up to mow. It's more comfortable on my back. It just feels more fun to operate. And another thing that I really like about this is the visibility you have. So everyone knows, if you've ever ran a skid steer, you know that with a skid steer you have much better visibility than you do with a tractor. You can see exactly what your front attachment's doing. And that's the case with this mini skid steer. I can not only see the tips of my forks, I can see the back of the forks. And it doesn't matter what's on there. It can be a bucket or a stump grinder or an auger or anything else. Very easy to use, intuitive controls. It's a fun little machine. Now, the obvious reasons someone would want this is if they need to work in small spaces. And you would say, well, you've got 20 acres. How often are you in tight spaces? And I would have said the same thing, except that I have 3 buildings that I work inside of, including this building. So this building serves a lot of purposes for me, and I have a lot of things in here. I have all this woodworking equipment. I'm a dealer for Woodland Mills, so freight comes in and out of here almost daily, and no other machine that I have on the property can come through this door and turn and set something over there. And it's a big deal. I mean, I've got a pallet jack, but in a lot of cases, this just does a lot better job than anything else I could have. One example of that happened just about an hour ago. I'm cleaning out a section of the shop, and over here on this wall, I had stacks of lumber. And that stack of lumber was 10 foot 6 inches wide. And I've got less room than that through here, and it's kind of set off into the corner, right in the corner. And I've got this panel saw there. So I was able to pick that up and then shimmy it out and get turned, and then the boards were longer than the door is wide. And I was able to kind of work it off this way and then rotate through the door and then work it out. And I was able to take out material that is wider than the door because of the extreme amount of versatility this machine has. Let's actually walk out and look in the Quonset hut real quick. So this is a building that I built on this property. It's 30 feet wide, 60 feet long. Inside of here, I have a sawmill, a couple of different firewood processors or wood log splitters, and all this different equipment in here, and I actually split firewood in here. And with that smaller machine, I can come in here, move this splitter over here, and set a pile of rounds next to it. I park my other machines in here, but even my small John Deere compact can't come in here and, for instance, this pile of wood right here, if I had a pile on each side, my tractor would have a hard time getting in here and getting turned. Now the little John Deere could do it, but the TYM can't. So having that maneuverability really makes a difference for me. Now the manufacturer, Baumalight, would probably have liked it better if I washed the machine and got it all cleaned up before doing the review. But that's not my style. I just pulled it in here the way it sits. But this machine has your 2 auxiliary hydraulic connections here. There's the case drain. It's got good hydraulic flow rate at 13 gallons per minute. The mini skid steer quick attach lets you run a lot of different attachments. And that hydraulic capacity allows you to run a lot of different attachments. This machine weighs, I believe, 2,500 pounds, maybe 3,000. I don't remember exactly. But this is the Baumalight TRL 620D. It's got a 25 horsepower Kubota engine in it. It has 2 lights on the front. It's obviously a tracked machine, but you can get it as a wheeled machine. You can also get it with a Yanmar engine instead of the Kubota. It's got a spring-loaded platform here for comfort that also disengages the use of your boom controls for safety. Here we've got the diesel fill, hydraulic fill. This one has a guard over it so that you don't accidentally get the wrong one. Now, there are 2 negatives to this machine, in my opinion. One is this auxiliary hydraulic control lever here. This would be open your grapple, close your grapple, open the grapple, close, open. And you have to take your hand off of here to do it, and it has a detent in both directions. To me, an ideal setup is a joystick with 2 buttons right here. Now, I actually have that joystick. It just arrived, and I haven't installed it yet. So, one negative I had was I don't love this lever, but they've already upgraded that, and you can order this machine with the 2-button system. Up here we have a parking brake. I really don't use it. Here's the 2 lights, the key that starts it, and your throttle. These controls work exactly like a larger skid steer. This is forward, reverse, turn. This is down, up, dump, and curl on your boom. Very intuitive to operate if you've ran any other equipment. I said there were 2 negatives. The second one I was going to mention is I wish it had a fuel gauge that was easier to see. You've got 2 fuel gauges. One is right here. I think this holds like 12 gallons. The first 6 gallons you see through this sight glass. The second 6 gallons you see from a sight glass down by your leg. And I actually ran it out of fuel once, which is just my fault. But if it had a gauge or a beeper or something up on the dash, it wouldn't have happened. But I wasn't paying attention, and you can't, while running the machine, you can't see that sight glass on the fuel. Not a big deal, just a very minor thing. The other thing I would have called a negative is that this machine moves slow. But almost any machine with tracks moves slow. I've never seen a track machine going 15 miles an hour. And as soon as I say that, someone will tell me about one that does. But it's a slow moving machine, but I have a long driveway. If I'm going to go, and I built a cage that holds 3 trash cans. So when I take my trash out, I go get that cage, bring it up here, get all the trash off the property, fill it up. And if I'm doing that job and I have that long driveway to go down, I still take this slow machine because I just like using it. But I would still say I wish it was just a little bit faster. But I had someone come visit the property who does landscaping for a living, and he's ran several different brands of mini skid steer. And he said he was really impressed with this Baumalight, and he said it was fast. He said it was faster than most of the other ones that he's used. For something like firewood or sawmill work, if you mainly have logs within its capacity, this thing's been phenomenal. For landscaping in backyards where you might have limited room to work, fantastic. Using it as a forklift in this building, fantastic. It's not a replacement for a tractor because you can't go out and mow a 40-acre field with it. I mean, you could, they make mowers for it, but I probably wouldn't recommend it. I should go ahead and make the disclaimer that my regular viewers already know, but for anyone who's new to this, I want to be completely upfront about the situation with this Baumalight machine. I didn't buy it and I don't own it. I'm not paid anything by Baumalight. I'm not incentivized to sell the unit. They don't tell me what to say. They sent this here for me to use temporarily, and I've been using it. And now I'm giving my opinion. I think it's an awesome machine, and I think for the right customer, it's maybe the perfect machine. If you're wondering about the price, I think this unit right here runs about $34,000 to $35,000, which is competitive with the rest of the market. So anyway, I appreciate you taking time to watch the video. I'll put links on the screen to a couple more of our videos, and I'll see you next time.